Akrew has been on an absolute tear recently, from holding the record of the most NSG weeklies won in a row being 3 to almost qualifying for VCT closed last week. During that VCT, Akrew busted out Fracture as one of their best map picks, and they run a really interesting agent being Neon, something no other team in NA has done yet. This is one of their best map picks as well. They boast a 75% win rate on this map, and the only team that has handed them a loss on this map is version 1. So I wanted to go through this map and see how version 1 actually countered Akrew and adapted to the fast-paced style that Akrew bring for them. So before I can talk about how version 1 countered Akrew, I need to talk about how Akrew are playing this map. And I think pistol round is a really good way to show how Akrew are planning on playing this entire map. Right off the bat, all of arcade has been cleared. The fault line, guts, no one was there. They used the boom bot to try and find information in the smoke. So now Akrew know that there's probably no one coming towards arcade for a while now. They don't have to worry about it for at least another 15 seconds while the smoke is really still up, and they can just transition over to clearing out B main. Both the duelists are going to go there, and you can already see the breach getting into position to try and help them, maybe with a flash or just to peek this in general. On the other side, you can see both of these people running back towards the spawn. They didn't see anything towards arcade, and you actually heard the fault line from the attacking breach over towards here. So Akrew have a decent idea of where version 1 is trying to head. Now version 1 do opt to go pretty fast into this, but you can just see the amount of stopping / delaying power that Akrew has here, right? You can see the wall over towards the right side. Penny is going to have to go through this one. You can see the instant 30 chunk of damage that is just done to everyone that's trying to go through it. You already see the star pre-placed here by Gucci. That's going to turn into a sug combo that is just going to damage anyone that tries to push aggressively. In addition to that, both Gucci and Calm are just firing through this smoke. The instant 30 damage from the wall, the gravity well in order to try and suck them in, all of this combo can help them make their bullets land and maybe get a kill. Gucci actually does find Effie's throughout this entire thing, and Effie actually had spike, so that spike goes down in a very unsafe position that version 1 are going to have to recover. And look at the adaptation from the rest of Akrew, right? You already see the breach running over towards spawn to try and help his team make sure they can get a fast retake. And both the duelists have now cleared out the entirety of B main and will have a very fast double flank on to the members of V1 still who have not planted the spike onto the A site. And I gotta say, this is really the power of Neon, right? In the time that it takes version 1 to grab the spike from this unsafe position, get their Astra through this choke point, and get the Astra to flank, get the Astra to plant, both Neon and Raze have already started to retake control of A main. They are wasting no time at all, and version 1, since they had to secure this spike, get it back down, they are not in position to actually fight both of these flankers. They're going to have to try and recover all this A main control while there's just 2 speed and duelists just coming their way. You can see it here. Kompeki's going super fast, drops both the concusses, and with that information gathered, can just get the CC onto the last 2 people. The moment Penny dies here, I mean, this retake is just one for Akrew. They have full A main control, they have spawn control, they have stand control. The last person is stuck towards default, which is a pretty hard position to try and fight from because he can just get utiled out, and one person towards drop where the spike isn't even planted for that person. So and Akrew with that base gets so many rounds for themselves. They still kind of stick to that formula of having the breach with the duelist to set them up, the 2 controllers on the other site in order to try and slow down the aggressive push that V1 might send their way. This time out though is where the tables turn. Version 1, they discuss what they need to do and they come up with a change. Instead of going through the main choke point where a lot of utility might be stuck, they say, hell, let's go a little bit different. Let's go towards sand and try and get some more space over there. It'll give us a little bit more space in the post plant scenario. So they go through the door. You're gonna see them smoke off every single point that they could be shot from. One towards the rope room, one towards this dish. They're gonna throw a Viper smoke actually over towards this position, over towards the spawn position, to make sure that they get safe passage as they go towards this door, towards the site itself. Look at the speed at which version 1 are going, right? They're not wasting any time. They're not waiting for Akrew to re-guess. They're just saying, hey, we're just going to get the site control. We'll trade each other out. It doesn't matter. Look at that position that it sets themselves for. They have 2 on the site, 1 planting the spike for A main. They've retained A main control with the Cypher sitting there already, so they won't be caught off by a fast flank, as well as the tripwire there to help with that. And they have 2 over towards sand, so this sand isn't forfeit for them. They're going to be fighting for this to make sure that they still have the space for this post plant. Not only that, they are going to aggress on this post plant. You see Xander actually go up this rope in the smoke, and it's going to catch Calm off guard here. This is the biggest kill of this round. Now the spawn isn't safe anymore. Gucci now has to cross over towards the site where he can be vulnerable towards this player right here towards Sands. Not only that, he's going to have to cross that, because if he doesn't, well, there could just be a flanking person here and he can get caught off guard by that. So, and you can see Akrew don't really have a plan to deal with this, right? They try and peek each person. The spike is planted safe, but they have to cross in order to get to that spike plant, and Pancakes isn't able to clutch up in that 1 versus 2. This is the adaptation that you love to see, right? Version 1, they don't do the same thing. They don't just try and go through the choke where they're going to get util dumped. They don't try and fight the double duelist with all the breach util that's being thrown at them, because they're going to get concussed. They're going to get naded. They're going to get concussed again by the neon, and they're probably going to die. Instead, they take a different route and they aggress the places where Akrew isn't really looking or don't have a lot of emphasis on to keep that space control. Now, unfortunately for Akrew, they weren't able to make the same adjustment that version 1 did, and although they were up 6-2 in the first half, version 1 bring it back, tie it up at even numbers. Now what we're going to see is version 1 counter Akrew again. Look at the setup from version 1. They also have their Astra and Viper set up as one of the sites together, but instead of just denying at the choke itself, they're going to be denying in one of the lanes, this one towards Arcade. You can see just how much this Viper's wall is doing by itself, right? This Viper wall right here is denying so much vision. No one from Akrew wants to peek through a smoke. It's an instant -30. Zelsis lets this wall run down all the way from 100 to 0. So this is a lot of time already spent that Akrew are not able to get onto the site. This is a rotate that has also come through from the Cypher, and the double flank is already in their spawn. This is a crunch setup where Akrew don't have anywhere to go. And you can see, right, it has been 20 seconds into this round. Most of Akrew is still stuck towards this arcade. They weren't able to get through the Viper smoke. They weren't able to get through the Viper molly. They weren't really able to get through the suck. And now the double flank has basically activated. They're already at their tails, and it is 20 seconds into the round. That is about the same speed that Akrew were going at. So Akrew finally able to get onto the site, at least for a little bit, but then Penny is here, ready to try and kill anyone down. Whippy still holding towards spawn, make sure no one's able to escape through there over towards the A site, and everyone from Akrew is just going to die on the site itself. Yep, just the 1 and the 2. And version 1 just keep using that, and it keeps working. They delay on the front side. Akrew aren't able to either fight the flank in time. They stagnate really hard, and version 1 are just going to punish. Version 1, they just take this all the way through, all the way towards 12. Akrew does get a couple rounds for themselves, but version 1 with this strategy, just double flanking, catching Akrew looking the wrong way, and making sure they can stall enough on the actual execute from Akrew. I mean, it was just a beautiful adaptation that version 1, even though they were down 6-2 at the first half of this game, they brought it back all the way in 13-8. It was the final score with version 1 leading. All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps me. We'll be posting more of these videos, so let me know in particular if you like these types of videos, but I'll see you guys in the next one.